Do you think that a parent should share the Triple P strategies that they've learned with their teacher? Your child's teacher?
Absolutely. So one of the things is we are trying to bring Triple P within our school system, and we do have a lot of schools that have been hearing from it from the parents' voice. So a lot of teachers are actually getting a lot of information about Triple P, and if they don't, they do have a background for knowing child growth and development and everything, so they're very supportive. So again, we have a lot of concerns as parents, and we get a lot of negative feedback a lot of times because that's what we notice most. So it's first take a deep breath and then think about what you want and what your expectation is of the school before you approach the teachers, because a lot of times we go kind of on the attack mode, and working in partnership is a lot more effective than trying to, fight the system. So if you open up that partnership with the teacher, then a lot of times they can, if they're not aware or familiar with the Triple P strategies that you're trying to use, or if they're not familiar with any strategies that you're using, the best way to do it is ask the teacher what she's currently using in her classroom, or what strategies have been working, or vice versa. What have you been doing at home that is working, and then approach it in that way. So working in collaboration is a lot more effective than going at it all with the emotions and with the intention to protect your child and defend your child, because no one is right, no one is wrong, but what you want is the child to meet their learning needs and to create the best environment possible.
Thank you. So again, sorry.
If I could just add to that.
Yeah, sure.
Also with our daycares, right, and even our Best Start hubs, we visit those. And so working, together with your daycare provider, your educator, so that you're both on the same page. And I know at the hub where I work, we want to support families, and so we work with them, if they need a spot for timeout, there's a designated spot for that. So we just, we want to create those environments that parents, we don't want parents to feel like they have to stay at home. We want you to be going out and visiting us at the hubs, or if your child is in daycare, so we want to make it as easy a transition for parents when they are having challenging behaviors, because we definitely want to support you. So it's not just the schools, it's it's the daycares and the hubs and the different places that you may be going. Even grandparents, right? You want grandparents on board, perhaps your babysitter, your caregiver, so that we're all working together, we're all using the same strategies, and so I think it's beyond the schools and just as a whole community, right? So that's what Triple P is about, so that as well.
Okay, Trish, just another one for you.
Oh, no.
Before I give you the one that we received from the audience, I'll just give you this one here. So
Okay.
my partner and I are separated. How do we maintain discipline within our children?
It is a good one, you're right. And it's one that, parents go through. This one is actually something that I've been through, and so I know how challenging it can be. And you're already going through some emotions and some difficult times, and you're worried about your children, right? They're going through this separation with you. And so I know from my experience, what I wanted to do was not discipline her at all, because I thought, I want to go easy on her, and she's already going through enough and having some challenges, so I don't want to discipline too much, and that backfired on me because she still needed that discipline. And so in talking to her father, we agreed that the same rules apply. So what we were doing together, we are now doing apart. And because that consistency is exactly what she needed. She didn't need another change. And even though we thought we were doing the right thing by just making things easier for her, we were making things harder for ourselves and harder for her in the end. And so, her father and I communicated about that and just made sure that we were both on the same page. The discipline, what was happening at his home was then happening at my home. And it worked. It benefited our family definitely in the end. So
the question is, what happens if parents don't agree? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. On the discipline, okay.
So I think what you have to do is worry about then what's happening in your home and your own consistency, and make sure that that doesn't change. You can't change what's happening in the other home. You can't, you don't want it to be stressful. So your child will know, that you are being consistent, what your rules are, and that you are following through, and that remains the same. And so I think that that's really important, right? And just providing that atmosphere in your home, and just staying consistent. It can be definitely tricky, but it'll be beneficial in the end.
Wonderful. Okay, we have a question here from the audience. My 3-year-old is very attached to her pacifier. Tried twice to ban the sissy, but she has found hidden pacifiers. She takes them from other children. She just doesn't seem to be ready. So what other strategies can she use, or advice that you can give to help her daughter who may potentially have a diagnosis? So did you want to
I just want to say they're not going to college with that soother. They're not going to high school with that soother.
So it's a
I'll let
3-year-old
somebody else answer that question.
3-year-old child.
I think it comes back to, I think we have to verify is why do you want to get rid of the soother? Is this a social thing that, is it something you want to do because you think it's best for your child because you don't want, tooth problems? Or is this something that you're doing because other people are doing or telling you that it's not right that that child has a soother at that age? Because the motivation is a little bit different. And the fact that from what I'm hearing is that there's other soothers hidden around the house is kind of preparing you for just in case. Because what happens is obviously when you're going through the process, the behavior will get worse. But if you give up right when the behavior is at its worst, then the next time around your child learns, I just have to act worse and I'll get it in the end. So really what you're trying to do is if you're getting rid of it, you have to follow through with whatever strategy you choose to do. Now there's a multiple of strategies available, but if you choose to, as what I'm getting is just taking it away, you have to take them all away and work with your child. What if she was using this as a soothing mechanism, what will she now use to replace that soothing mechanism? What does she need to be able to feel comfortable? If she was using that to go to bed, then what is she going to use to replace that? Because you're making her go through a transition. So those are a couple of aspects I would look at when we're talking about bottles or soothers.
And we have to remember that parenting is trial and error. You're going to try different things, and things aren't going to work, and then you're going to try something, and it does work, right? I remember taking away a soother and replacing it with a doll and thinking, this would never work. This is too easy. And taking my 3-year-old to the store and purchasing this little doll and going home and thinking, this isn't going to work. And it did. It worked. She held on to that baby doll and gave up the soothers, and it was just so simple. Now that doesn't happen all the time, but yeah, it's just so much about trial and error and not getting discouraged and making sure that if that doesn't work, you're going to try something else, and it's that consistency that will be effective.
Mm-hmm.